Hi, I'm Christy Swinesberg, Senior Editor for Ward's Auto. Welcome to Fast Chat. Today I'm talking to Renato Souza from Smith, Vice President, Business Development. Hi, Renato. How are you today?
Really good, Christy. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, thanks. We're here to talk about the challenges facing manufacturers relative to the supply chain and what strategies can be employed to solve them. We'll also be discussing Smith's role in the electronic supply chain. So, Renato, to start out with, can you tell me a little bit about Smith?
Smith is considered the top independent distributor globally. We've been in business for a little bit over 38 years. We're based out of Houston, Texas. Our business is privately held. Two brothers, Bob and Lee, actually started the business a long time ago. And currently we have about 1,000 employees globally, 18 sales locations, and 4 warehouses where we do all the testing for the parts before we ship to our customers. On size, we're about 2021 closed the year at $3.4 billion of revenue. And this year we're on target to reach $5 billion. So we're growing fast and we're supporting all the automakers with all the needs that they have.
Great. So, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges facing automotive manufacturers right now?
It's still the same issue, Christy. Long lead times from manufacturers to get parts for their builds. Pricing is a major factor because components have skyrocketed on pricing and cost, which is impacting their ability to just the cost of the product, of course, right? And really just for them to take a decision on, the parts that they're getting, what model or what plant has a priority to use them for their builds.
So, what strategies can manufacturers implement to address these issues as they look to close out 2022?
Yeah, some of the biggest strategies that they're doing, a lot of it is bringing their engineering teams on board. So they're looking at their bill materials to see what other alternatives they have with different manufacturers. So they're not just locked down to 1 or 2 part numbers that are being short in the market. That's really impacting their production lines. So they're expanding bill of materials, and they're also taking a pretty close look to see what gadgets are really necessary, right? Because there's a couple of things that consumers can't live without, but they're a bottleneck of their production. So I even heard cases in which, manufacturers are selling cars and telling their customers hey, this is not going to be available now, but, 6 months, 12 months down the line, please bring your car back over and then we can install those specific gadgets.
Can you fill us in on what role Smith plays in the electronic supply chain?
Sure. So the supply chain for components, there's 2 direct channels in which the first one is directly from manufacturers. The second one is the franchise distributors, in which they're supplying all the parts of the manufacturers through their direct lines to the automakers. We fully operate under the open market. So we have the ability to buy and sell material from any sort of suppliers. It can be an excess inventory. It can be directly from a customer that's got parts that they're not going to be using anymore. So we have the ability to play in the open market. So that's how we really support them is, we're supporting the automakers with a list of parts, escalated parts that they cannot get through the normal channel. And they're looking for a partner like Smith to be able to locate the stock globally, bring it into our warehouse, do all the needed QC and quality revisions for the parts to make sure that they comply with the manufacturer. And then we can ship to their line so they can keep them running.
Can you talk about the changes you've seen automakers make because of the semiconductor shortage?
Yeah, honestly, the automakers were not really involved on semiconductors, the direct purchasing of semiconductors before they really leaned on their tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers to be the owners of that process. Nowadays, there's a huge impact to their ability to do the final parts. They really have launched their own procurement teams that are doing escalations and going out into the market to actually negotiate and buy parts to support their tier 1 and tier 2s to make sure that they get those parts down the line so that they can have them ready for their final assembly.
Great. Thank you, Renato, for your time today. I've really enjoyed speaking to you. And thank you to our audience for joining us on Fast Chat. I'm Christy Swinesberg from Ward's Auto. See you again next time.